time to introduce a good-looking German living in Canada.
Yes. No, thank you. No, it's all at the Zoom face filter. No,
I knew that you're not just programming trading indicators and things like that. All right, you're building Zoom filters, from what I understand.
yeah, I have to. I'm getting up there. Yes, no choice.
You're doing great, from what I see.
Yeah, no, it's been a great week for us. We had a 2 days workshop just completed of a trader called Jeff Tompkins, and we're going to Orlando next week for the Money Show, and now
Perfect.
here at the Trader Summit. So keeping busy.
Now, for those of you that don't know him, Daniel it's his 4th time with us.
Yeah.
He is probably the best at what he does. He and his team are building not only indicators, dashboards, and other applications that are extremely useful. And you also make a lot of custom made work.
Yeah.
Probably we're actually going to be working ourselves with Daniel in the next revision of our Forex analytics platform. So, Daniel, why don't you take it from here and let people know what you do and how you do it?
Great. Thanks, Steve. Yes. So my name is Daniel Sinnig, and I am a managing partner of tradingindicators.com. So it's a website. It's an online store where we offer our tools, our indicators to the world. And everything we do, we try to give it a little bit of a tweak to make it unique and hopefully very useful to you as a trader to make better trading decisions. And we focus primarily in our online store on building technical indicators for various trading platforms, TradingView, MetaStock, MT4, MT5, and so forth. But it doesn't stop there. We also build, as Steve said, trading dashboards, smart apps for trading, fully automated strategies, trading scanners, and so forth. So we have a full team behind us. It's not just me, although I started it, but it's not just me. We have traders on board, we have mathematicians on board, we have programmers on board, and all together we're trying to build innovative tools, intelligent tools to help you as traders to make better trading decisions. Now, I would like to talk just a little bit in this sponsoring presentation about how everything started, because I think it's somewhat unique and perhaps of interest, and maybe a nice break from all the very in-depth and profound fundamental analysis. So let's just maybe take one step back and let me just talk very briefly about how it started and who am I, in fact. So my background is actually quite different from the background of most of the speakers on this event. I'm actually a software engineer by training. So my objective for most of my career until maybe 10 years ago was to become a university professor. In fact, I was teaching heavily at the university in software engineering and requirements and design, programming, and so forth, mainly here in Montreal, which is my headquarter. And you can even find a profile and rate my professor about me with mostly good reviews, some questionable reviews, but if you're interested, you can check it out. But I was always fascinated.
I'll give you a good review for sure.
Yeah, most of the more controversial ones are probably by frustrated people, but it's not. Anyways. But I was always fascinated by trading, and I was trading for myself back in the day. And of course, I made all the mistakes that everybody does in the beginning when they start out. I took too much risk. I overtraded. I revenge traded. I held on to my losers for too long in the hope they would turn around. I've done it all, and I've lost. Of course, like most people who start up, I lost money. And I took a hard look at that point into the mirror and said, wow, trading is actually really hard and I need help. And for me, as a software engineer, needing help meant I need better trading tools that will help me to make better trading decisions. And this is really how the story behind tradingindicators.com started, because most of the tools that we now offer were actually programmed in the very beginning for our own use or for my own use. One such tool, I'm going to show you now, really quick, just go to the next slide, was based on a very particular need. Back in the day, I was obsessed with creating my automated strategy for MT4. I was always supposed to have a nervous personality, and trading manually didn't really fit me because I'm just too emotional. So I thought, wow, maybe an automated strategy, an EA for MT4 could do the trick, which would operate based on very clear entry rules and exit rules, and hopefully, at the end of the day, we'll draw a profit. So I wrote EAs extensively, but of course, an EA needs to be tested. And back then it was MT4, and this is how MT4 looks like. It looked like back then in 2016, but it still looks the same because it hasn't changed in the last decade. So I was testing my A's, but if you know MT4 a little bit, it's a very manual activity. You have to start every back test manually, over and over again. And imagine doing this if you want to test your strategy, your EA, on, let's say, 19 different symbols across different time frames, perhaps 3, with different settings. That's a lot of tests. If you have to do them all manually, it's very time consuming. And so this was something I was facing back then. And, as a software engineer, I tried to be creative. And I wrote back then, it took me a little while, my own portfolio tester tool, which would automate or batch automate all these back tests. And this is how it looked back then. And perhaps for the older generation, you will know this kind of programming or interface. It's a command line interface, which would write out in white font on a black screen all the test results one by one, and so forth. So this is how it looked back then. It was purely used in-house. It was used by me. And it was totally fine. It was great. It could automate all these tests for me. Basically, what I would do at that time, I would just, specify my tests before I went to bed. Couple of 100 tests. I would start the process, but run all these back tests overnight while I was sleeping. In the morning, when I woke up, I would be looking at the results to see if I found some good settings or some good insights about my strategy tests. So this is how it all started, and this was purely used in-house. But then we thought, maybe something similar, maybe a bit nicer, could be useful for other traders as well who are interested in strategy testing and expert advices and automated strategies. So we then built, based on this concept, a slightly more clean version of this automated back testing tool, which is called now the Portfolio Tester 3.0. And as you can see here, it has a much nicer interface. You can now click together your back tests very quickly. You can select your AA using a drop-down. You can select the symbols you would like to run your back test on, the time frames, and so forth. And when you're done, you just click Start somewhere down here, and it will just then start running all these back tests. And at the end, you can look at the results. And this tool also works for MT4. It works for MT5 as well. And we have users all around the world who, I hope, find this tool useful. And based on this, actually, once you have run all your back tests, which are still individual, we again had a need. Well, how can we now combine these individual back tests into a portfolio test? What do I mean by this? Imagine you have a strategy that is based on equities, and perhaps you want to run on several symbols, Apple, IBM, Tesla, whatever. And you would like to simulate or find out, what if I had traded this strategy on multiple symbols at the same time? So this is not possible with MT4 because these are all run individually. But for a true portfolio test, you want to see what is the portfolio effect of trading a strategy on multiple symbols at the same time. So again, there was nothing out there. So we start working again in-house at first, and we wrote a tool which is called the Portfolio Architect, which is able to combine all these different individual back tests into a portfolio test, simulating what if all of these had been traded at the same time. And we built in some cool features as well, such as what is the trade performance on a month-by-month breakdown, which weekdays, for example, would have performed the best, which hours in the day would have performed the best. And we could even add filters to it, which would simulate what if I had only traded this strategy on Mondays, or only between 9 and 10 a.m. and so forth. You could get some instant insights without having to rerun your individual tests on the fly with this Portfolio Architect tool. Again, it started out with a very need of our own, but then we made it public on our online store, hopefully for others to find it useful as well. And this tool works with not just with MT4, MT5, but also with other trading platforms such as Ninja, Thinkorswim, Metastock, I made a typo here, and so forth. All right. And why do I say all this? Well, there's actually a small transition. Just recently, we have used our own tools, again, the MT4 portfolio, actually the MT5 version, portfolio tester and the portfolio architect to run a larger back test on a swing trading system. And I have a punchline in just a second, which was performed over 84 big US stocks from the beginning of this year on the hourly time frame, a fully automated strategy. And average trade duration was approximately 1 week, give or take. Over the course of these 10 months, we had 6,827 entry signals long and short across all these different symbols. Now, and we, of course, there was a purpose for running this test because we had a hypothesis that we could improve a trading system using an idea that we had. So, and these are the results that we came up with. This was the original trading system, as you can see, pretty bad. Doesn't look very promising. But then we put in our idea, and we got this result. We call these sweet spot trades. And what this idea is, I'm going to talk about tomorrow during my presentation. But this is, again, using our own tools to prove our hypothesis or to follow up on an idea that we had and making our life as easy as possible, because this was done all fully automatically. I did not run all these individual back tests myself. I clicked them together using our own tools, and it was run fully automatically. And the analysis afterwards was quite straightforward as well. Now, what is this idea that we have? Well, we have built a set of what we call self-aware indicators. Well, sounds like fancy, but which try to predict, using some intelligence, what are the odds of winning the next trade before entering the trade. Sounds like science fiction, but we had an idea how this can be possible. And we packaged up these indicators in what we call the Power Bundle 360. And if you're interested, join me tomorrow morning at 8:15 Eastern when I talk about what I call market hacking, knowing your odds before entering a trade. And best of all, if you already know what Power Bundle 360 is, we actually just released a new version of it, a new generation, which includes what we call auto optimization, which basically means finding the best parameters for the indicators to use automatically without having to manually fiddle around with them. Every indicator, basically literally every indicator in the world comes with settings. A moving average comes with an MA period setting, an RSI comes with settings. But which settings to use, this is often up to guesswork. And it's very time consuming, fiddling around with it, seeing what may give me the best signals. And it is very tedious, as you can see here. So if it's too tedious, people don't do it because it just takes too long. Trading is a game of timing. If something takes too long, you can't really focus on the actual chart. If you have to, optimize your indicator manually. So it takes forever. So tomorrow, and I think my time is running out, we're going to talk about auto optimization. If you're interested, join me at 8:15 on Sunday. I'm going to give you all the details on this. And,
Daniel, I want to say great presentation. And as Steve mentioned earlier, we at Forex Analytics are looking forward to working more hand in hand with your company. You've been offering a great product and service, specifically service to your clients for so many years. I'm really guilty of one of those people that I know what I want to automate. I just don't have the time to sit down and do it. And so I'm excited. I'm excited for what you do, and I think other traders are as well. There should be. I've been working towards this this idea over the last probably 8 years or so that I really need to automate. Even if it's just a portion of what I want to do to trade, I want to automate it. So I think you do a great service to the trading community. So thank you so much, and we look forward to your presentation tomorrow.
Great. Thanks, guys. See you tomorrow. Have a nice show.
Dana.
Bye-bye. Yeah, bye.
Ciao.